All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks a million to those of you that take time to leave us ratings or reviews. There's really only two things that help this podcast, this YouTube video grow. Number one is you telling people about it. And number two is all the algorithm stuff. And the way that works is when people subscribe, when people leave reviews, the different platforms love that. They're like, people are enjoying this. They're getting value out of it. Let's show new people about it. So we really appreciate when you guys take the time to do that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll notice that the setting is a little bit different. We are not sitting in our office today. And also, if you're just listening...
We are sitting in our office.
That's right.
A different office.
We're in our new mobile headquarters, and the view you're seeing behind us is in Port Aransas, Texas. Mm-hmm. If you hear in the background, the dogs are just off camera providing the soundtrack of a nap. A lot of snoring going on in this episode today. We have two important things to talk about. Yeah. Number one, we've had this sponsor in the past, and now it's a reality. We're sitting in our Airstream trailer. We sold our little guy. We sold our Toyota 4Runner.
We sold 2 cars and a trailer, and we've got upgraded to this.
Right. So we're loving it so far.
This is our first trip. We came down to Corpus first, and it was a beautiful view, and we were on like the bay. Like, so Corpus is like the very last city at the edge of Texas, and then there's a bay, and then there's an island called Port Aransas. So we were on the bay side, and it stunk like.
It's like
seagrass.
Seaweed.
Like, we thought it was like sulfur from like plants around us, and then we asked the people, and they're like, no, it's like the bay just stinks. And it was really powerful. I was like, wow, this is interesting.
As soon as we got out of the truck, we were like, what is this? It was a little bit better in the mornings before the breeze kicked in, but man, it was pretty unpleasant.
So we were there for 2 days, and then we moved over here, and it's really cool. It's just a weird time of year to be here. It's like so beautiful outside. It's sunny. It's like 99.9% humidity. It's just like,
it's wild.
It's hard to be outside because we're from Houston, and I'm used to humidity, but I'm not used to this humidity. I guess I've never spent a lot of time on the coast. You know, we lived like 30 miles inland when we lived in Houston.
It just slaps you in the face.
It slaps you in the face. We've become spoiled by the Texas Hill Country, lower humidity.
I can remember times living in Houston where we would go outside, or I'd go outside and boom, my sunglasses would fog up and be like, whoa. Or you try to take a picture with your phone, but you can't because the lens is all fogged up.
I would just be like, when I would in the gym, I would be writing the workouts on the board, and I would just start to sweat, and I would be like so grumpy. I was like, I haven't even done anything. I'm just standing here and I'm sweating. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what it's like here. But
so far, totally successful first trip. We're going to head back tomorrow. And, you know, we've talked about it a few times on this podcast before. People are probably picked up on our hints that, you know, there's a possibility we might be spending more time in a camper sometime soon. So stay tuned for whatever develops that.
We'll see.
So far, so good. The other thing we have to talk about is that Digital Barbell Body starts on September 11th. This is our 8-week full body fitness program that you wrote back in 2020. Dozens of people have gotten amazing results with this program. It's everything you need, 4 days per week. It's strength, it's muscle building, it's conditioning. And you have 2 options with this. You can either just get the workouts for only $147 for all 8 weeks, or you can have one of the 3 of us coach you for $247 and hold you accountable.
And that's a great value because it's not only someone holding you accountable, but it's somebody like making sure that you're moving well, making sure that you're using the right intensity and the right weights to actually get results and stuff like that. It's more than just like, hey, be someone being like, good job.
Yeah, we really didn't want price to be a barrier for this thing, which is why we priced it at a crazy low price.
And I'll say I did write the original body program in 2020, but this one's going to be a revamped version. Back then it was 5 days a week. This is going to be 4 days a week, because I want people to be super consistent with it, and I'm going to kind of run through it. Run through it and maybe update some of the finishers and everything.
Like the summer slump is a real thing. Like
It
people
is.
really struggle to stay on track during the summer. I would say even more than the holidays, honestly, because summer just seems to drag out for so long.
And you're kind of moving around, like probably in spurts. Like maybe people have a trip here and then they're home for 3 weeks and then they do something else. And I mean, we see it firsthand. We're here. We brought dumbbells. We have all these intentions of, oops, the air conditioner just kicked on.
Oh well.
All these intentions of of moving, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's like crazy outside. Like there's
Yeah.
mosquitoes. Like there's people right next to us. We don't feel comfortable like just busting out a workout. Like there's all these like things that happen where you have these great intentions, and then you're like, something steps in and gets in the way.
So we wanted to release this program at this time to help people
Yeah.
get out of that summer slump and go into the holidays on a roll already. So it's not like you're coming out of a hole of the summer and then you feel like you're just stuck. What's the point? I'll just wait till New Year's to start. No.
Yeah.
You're starting September 11th. You're doing digital barbell body, and you're going to go
Right.
into the holidays with a whole bunch of progress and momentum already built up.
This is the why we upgraded our camper. You can probably hear a
I'm
slight
sure they can hear it.
hum of the air conditioner, but before we could not run the air conditioner if
Yeah.
we did a podcast, or we could barely even talk when we did run the air conditioner.
Let's just get extra close to our microphones so that you can't hear the air as much.
This was the reason, because this has air conditioner like a house where it's ducted, and it's not just like a unit in your camper
Yeah.
blowing on you, being so loud.
Big upgrade.
Yes.
Okay, enough about announcements and campers.
Enough about air conditioners. Let's move on.
Today's episode is 10 fitness and nutrition myths that need to go away forever.
Forever.
I mean, some of these things have been around since the dawn of man, and some of these things are fads that seem to keep popping up. But we're going to talk about them, we're going to squash them, and
Okay.
hopefully they just go away forever.
I have a coffee question first.
Oh, okay.
So I've been making what I call an oat milk latte, but I'm using coffee concentrate and not espresso.
You're
'cause
using cold brew coffee.
I'm using cold brew coffee concentrate and oat milk,
Hmm.
and that's it. And I know if you go to like a coffee store, it's going to be espresso and oat milk.
I like the way
So
you say espresso.
Can I still call it a latte?
I would call it a cold brew latte.
Okay.
How about that?
That's
Problem
maybe I made
solved.
Okay.
Cold brew espresso latte.
It's not espresso.
It's because there's no such thing as espresso.
What is it?
Espresso.
Espresso.
There's no X in espresso. It's just espresso. I think it's ESS. I have a lisp because of all this stupid stuff in my
Okay.
going on with my teeth. But okay, 10 fitness and nutrition myths that need to go away forever. You ready?
Sure.
Number 1, you should lose 1 pound a week during a fat loss phase. This is like
Says who?
Says who? Maybe losing a pound per week is a terrible idea for you. It's like, become this thing. Yeah, I want to lose about a pound per week. So the way, if you think back to like how fat loss works, basically you're liberating the fat stored on your body to use for energy. And people way smarter than us have figured out that a pound of fat on your body contains about 3,500 calories worth of energy in it, give or take. It's not an exact science. So we automatically think, okay, I want to lose a pound per week. I need to cut 3,500 calories per week divided by 7 days. I need to cut 500 calories per day out of my diet. Okay, what if that's a terrible idea for you? Maybe that's totally unrealistic. Let's say you're a fairly active, maybe not super active female, and you can maintain your body weight on 1,800 calories per day. That means you have to cut down to 1,300 calories per day to lose a pound per week. What if that's like super low for you? You're going to be really hungry. You're going to be able to sustain it for 5 days until the weekend hits, and then you're going to want to eat 3,000, 4,000 calories per day.
Really hungry, really tired, really
Exactly.
low energy,
Exactly.
not active.
Or what if you're a man who maintains their weight at 2,000 calories per day? You're going down to 1,500 calories a day to lose a pound per week. That's going to be really, really unsustainable. You're going to be extremely grumpy. And sometimes these drastic calorie deficits can lead to more muscle loss than a more conservative deficit over a more prolonged period of time that ensures you're losing almost all fat and not any muscle. So forget the idea of necessarily shooting for 1 pound per week. It might be okay for you, but it's a case-by-case basis. There should be no rule across the board that progress means 1 pound per week.
Okay.
Number 2, light weights make muscles look longer. Look, I'm really talking to the females here. Women want long, lean muscles. I've heard it before. Like, I want my arm muscles to look long and
I've
lean.
never heard longer muscles.
Yeah, it's a thing. Trust me.
Is that like as opposed to bigger muscles?
Right. Like the common nomenclature is that a bulky muscle is like a bigger, taller muscle.
Ball.
A lean muscle that like you want to see the definition of is a long, lean muscle. So there's just this common misunderstanding that to make a long lean muscle, you take a lightweight
Yeah.
and you do a
Go
whole
at
bunch of
it.
reps with
Yeah.
it. You stay away from the heavy weight because that's the thing that's going to make your muscle bigger
Mm-hmm.
and make you look more bulky. Look, your muscles are really really dumb. They only know how to do two things: shorten and lengthen. Go in, go out. That's what they do. And the
Mm-hmm.
only stimulus they know is either stay the same or get bigger.
Yeah.
You know, using a lighter weight doesn't change the shape of your muscle. And the thing that really messes people up when they do this is that they take that light weight, they do a million reps with it, and all they're really doing is developing the endurance of that muscle because it's
Mm-hmm.
not a challenging effort for it. It's just that you burn out and you build up so much metabolite in the muscle from doing so much reps that you just get a big burn in there and you actually never give your muscle the stimulus to grow. And to ever see the definition of a muscle, we have to get it to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And then we eventually have to lose the body fat that's on top of the muscle to reveal the definition of it. So, if you want to see muscle definition, you want to see long muscles that you can like see the shape of your tricep, your shoulders, all that kind of stuff. You have to be lifting a heavy enough weight to cause the muscle to grow a little bit. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a arm that's shaped like a bone,
Yeah.
covered in a little bit of fat, and you're not going to be happy with the end
Right.
result. Killed it. I think this one might be a little bit redundant, but then I mean, there's another one coming up that's a little bit redundant, so
Okay.
I hope I didn't overshoot there. All right, number 3, working out with food in your stomach makes you lose more fat. So the common misunderstanding is that if you're working out hungry, you're burning your body fat for energy and you're gonna lose weight. Unfortunately, this is just not the case. You got to look at the bigger picture. Fat loss is the result of total energy balance across weeks, months, not just working out hungry. What I mean by energy balance is if you want your body to attack your body fat for energy to make you lose weight, you just have to eat less
Mm-hmm.
calories throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month than you normally do. And that's the way that your body will attack energy for your body fat for energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, if working out on an empty stomach makes you eat less food throughout the day and you don't make up for it because you're extra hungry, then you might lose some fat. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, this plan kind of backfires on a lot of people. I also find with people and with myself that working out hungry decreases my performance also. You got
Yeah.
to remember that a lot of the weightlifting that we do is just powered by glucose. So if you're working out fasted, you don't have a lot of glucose circulating in your bloodstream for energy too. So you could be shooting yourself in the foot because you need to have productive workouts if you want to change your body composition, if you want to lose fat, if you want to build muscle. So working out fasted
Mm-hmm.
does not make you lose more fat.
I was just sharing this with our friends the other day, but I have created myself quite a pre-workout
You
snack.
already talked about your pre-workout snack on the
On here?
podcast. Yeah, you did.
Oh,
And because I called it a meal.
I was telling it to our friends the other day. I talked to you on the
You
podcast.
can refresh our memory.
2 rice cakes, some almond butter, a full banana spread out on both of them, drizzled with honey, and a helping of cottage cheese.
Hmm.
And then about 30, at least 30 minutes go by, and I'm ready to work
This
out.
person's comment was, "I would throw up if I ate all that before I worked out." And it is person to
But then
person
like
dependent.
I don't eat again for another like several hours because we work out for like an hour and a half or whatever, and then I like a little bit of time to go by, and then we have like a lunch
Yeah,
at 3 o'clock.
yeah,
But yeah, I like to work out with a full, like, not like I don't like to be full, but I don't like to work out hungry.
yeah. I don't either. I've experimented with a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
things. Even like when I would go to your 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock classes at the gym in between work and go into that class, I would pound like 4 rice cakes in the truck on the way to the gym
In
because
the
I felt
evening.
so much better with those
Mm-hmm.
extra carbs
Yeah.
in my body before working out. So
Yeah.
you got to experiment with what works for you.
Right. Yeah, and some people just don't like to eat first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
so you really just have to experiment with what you can tolerate before you work out. It's different for everybody. People used to always ask me at the gym like what should I eat before I come to the gym, and I'm same thing. Just
Yeah.
experiment with what feels good in your stomach.
It's usually like a fast digesting food that's
Mm-hmm.
not really
Like
thick.
banana.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
keep it kind of light and fat because fat digests so much more slowly than carbs and protein do. That's one of the benefits of a protein shake, is that it's going to digest quickly if you're trying to get some calories, especially protein, in before a workout.
But for me personally, I don't like a protein shake before a workout. It just feels like a gut bomb, and like I feel heavy
Yeah.
if I eat a protein shake because it is just like it's a lot of protein. It goes in fast,
Right.
and it's a lot of liquid
You just
sitting
don't,
right in your
and you
stomach.
especially whey, you don't do really well
Yeah,
with a whey protein.
right,
Okay, but again,
right.
working out hungry will not make you lose more fat. Number 4, you need to keep moving between sets to keep burning calories. I never really thought about this until one of your friends was over working out with us one time, and we were doing the strength part of the workout. It was
Hmm.
like some dumbbell rows or some goblet squats or something. And in between sets, she was like doing mountain climbers and jumping jacks and jump squats. And we're like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I got to keep my heart rate up in between
Yeah.
sets. And she came from an Orange Theory background
Hmm.
where all the emphasis was put on like keeping your heart rate elevated, keeping you in a certain heart rate zone.
Yeah.
And that's super counterproductive to having a really good strength workout. And why that matters is because you need to put in a solid effort into each set if you're going to cause enough stress on the muscle to
Hmm.
actually make it grow. So, if you're doing this to try to burn calories, that's kind of a fool's errand anyway. You're better off spending your time and effort on the other side of the calorie equation, planning your food, paying attention to how much you're eating, making sure your nutrition habits are solid if your goal is
Hmm.
fat loss, not keeping your heart rate elevated in between sets. You're going to be too pooped out to actually put in a good effort into the thing that's actually going to cause you to get stronger. And there's no magic about keeping your heart in a
Yeah.
specific zone for fat loss anyway. It goes back to what I said earlier about it being the net of how many calories you ate versus burned over the
Hmm.
long haul. And don't focus on how many calories you're burning, because you have no way to measure it accurately anyway. Work out to get stronger, work out to get more confident, work out to build muscle, work out for, maintaining your metabolism,
Yeah.
and then focus your heart rate training for your health
Right.
benefits overall.
And if like the way we structure our workouts is like there is a strength portion,
Hmm.
and then there is a conditioning portion. And so during the strength portion, you don't need to be keeping your heart rate up because
Right.
you're gonna get that in a little bit in the workout.
Which begs the question, well, what should you do during your rest period? You should rest. The goal is to rest
Hmm.
long enough so that you can put in a really, really solid effort into the following
Hmm.
set. So just like, timing your rest down to 30 seconds to like keep your heart rate up, even if you're not doing jumping jacks and mountain climbers
Yeah.
between set, that's pointless. Wait,
Well,
rest long enough to where you feel like, okay, I'm recovered enough, so I'm going to be able to put in the same amount of effort into this next set that I
hmm
did the
a lot
previous
of
set.
people like a guideline though. We give a guideline, and it always depends on how much you're lifting
Yeah,
and how heavy this is
and
for
what the
you and what the
exercise is.
exercise is. So it definitely varies, but I like to give people a guideline because some people just don't know like how long should I take it.
Yeah,
Sometimes it is 30 seconds, sometimes it's 4 minutes.
yeah,
It really just depends on you, what you're doing, and how heavy it is.
right.
Yeah.
But the point is to rest
And I
during
and
that
it,
time.
and also I think it varies person to person. Like I personally, I don't like sit down or anything. Like I don't like rest. I just like
Lay on the ground with a pillow.
I just don't lift the weights. I'll walk around, you know,
Yeah, that's
talk to
resting.
you. Like, yeah, that's resting. But I don't like to personally like sit down in a workout because I feel like if I sit and I just like truly rest, I feel like I'm not ready to do
Hmm.
something explosive
Yeah,
again
you know
after that.
yourself in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Is this number 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can lose the weight and then figure out how to keep it off later. So, man, I hear this all the time. Like, what's your goal? Well,
Hmm.
my goal is to lose 30 pounds. How are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to cut carbs. I'm going to go keto. I'm going to do carnivore. I'm going
Hmm.
to do Optavia. And then I'll just figure out how to keep it
Keep it
off
off.
once I get it done. Okay, what do you think is going to happen when you stop doing the thing that caused you to lose the weight in the first place? You need to have an exit plan out of your diet when you go into the diet,
Hmm.
which is one of the reasons we don't even do diets at all with our
Hmm.
clients. We focus first on the basic habits that support who they want to become as a person. What does a healthy lifestyle look like for you? How can we integrate your nutrition into that, into a big package of a just gradual lifestyle change into who you want to become? Therefore, there's nothing to ever stop.
Hmm.
Maybe we dial back on the level of specificity with which we track different things and stuff like that, but there's no coming off of the diet, so there's never any reason to figure out how you're going to keep it off. This is your new
Yeah.
lifestyle. you know, this is, the problem with fad diets is people forget when they join an 8-week challenge that eventually week 9 is going
Mm-hmm.
to come. What's your plan to
Mm-hmm.
maintain the progress that you made during those 8 weeks? I hope that you take a sustainable approach that actually changes the behaviors that got you into the place that you were in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to be in trouble. It's like buying a car that you can't afford and just being like, I'll figure out how I'm going to make the
Yeah.
payments later. Get ready to see the repo man show up in a few months.
And I think when you truly do make these sustainable changes to your diet, you enjoy them so much. And I think that there's this fear that you're going to like live this life that you're not going to enjoy. You're never going to enjoy food again. You're never going to, I'm never going to have a donut again or whatever it is, whatever the things you like. Like that's not true. And you will like get to this other side where you enjoy how you feel so much. You won't like, what am I trying to say? Like, you won't want, it's not like you won't want to go back and ever have, like, for example, like it's about to be my birthday and we made a cake here in the trailer. Like, it's not like you're never going to want to go out and have cake or something like that or have things that you enjoy, but you're going to most of the time want
Mm-hmm.
to maintain the healthy diet that you've learned because you like how you feel so much.
Yeah. I think it's like the concept of discipline and constraints
Mm-hmm.
actually creating freedom
Yeah.
in your life. If you have a structure that you live your life by, that's a freeing thing
Mm-hmm.
because it actually gives you freedom to experience things outside of that structure and
Yeah.
enjoy them more than if you're just living a haphazard life with your nutrition where you never have the benefit of feeling good. Like
Yeah.
there's no structure. You're just every day is just this like thing that leaves you feeling unsettled
Mm-hmm.
because you know that you should be doing better. You know you should have a healthy routine, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't. So it just weighs on you. That
Yeah.
structure is what gives you freedom and lets you enjoy the parts of, you know, cultural diet that revolves around culture and things that just taste good
Yeah.
for the point of tasting good.
Right. Like it's at the end of August here, so I've gone a full 8 months without having alcohol, and like but never before, as I've been an adult drinking alcohol, have I ever gone this long. I've never done anything like this before, and I've done like a month,
Hmm.
and like I told Jonathan, I was like, I've done it for 8 months. I think I get the idea. Like I maybe on my birthday I'll have a drink, like go, And last night we were with friends. Tomorrow's my birthday. I was like, they're having alcohol. I was like considering it, but I didn't do it because I felt I'm like I know how good I feel right now.
Hmm.
I don't wake up with headaches. Like I don't feel sluggish in the evening. Like I sleep so good. I didn't have any because I'm honestly a little afraid to go back there because I know how good I feel. Like I've gotten to the other side.
Hmm.
So it's
It's interesting.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's very interesting. That's what I mean about the nutrition side too. Is it's not like you're gonna and I did and I had a great evening. I had
Hmm.
athletic brewings with me and I had a great evening. It like had me having alcohol didn't like give me anything for that evening. Same thing as like
Didn't change the
partaking
experience.
in a food that it does not meet up with your goals does not add to that evening with friends.
Yeah.
It might take away the when you get back, like when you're how you feel like
Hmm.
I gave in,
Yeah.
and I think that's and you know
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think it's a great point. It's going to be interesting to see how, what you decide to do in the future.
Yeah,
I support you either way.
thanks.
Number 6, there are fat loss workouts. I said that like it was a weird question. Let me say it again.
There are fat loss
There
workouts,
are
period.
there are quote fat loss workouts. Like if you go on YouTube or Google and you search like sample
This is
fat
a
loss
fat loss
workout. All
workout.
right, right. Oh, this one is going to like make you burn fat
Yeah.
if you do this workout. Here's a real bun burner, or this one will really melt the
Hey, I have
fat
some finishers
off your
called
body.
Buns Burner, and they are
Well,
buns
they can make your
burners.
buns burn, but they're not going to make you lose any more fat than any other workout. So there's workouts that are fueled by fat, like long endurance cardiovascular workouts, like running a marathon. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to burn fat for energy, but we're talking about dietary fat. There is no workout that specifically targets you to lose fat on your body. Let's go back to you're noticing a theme here,
Mm-hmm.
this reoccurring theme of the thing that causes fat loss is a decrease in the amount of food that you're eating. Your body has to make up for that lack of food by using your stored fat for energy. Now, if you exercise or do a workout and it burns calories, well, that contributes to that overall picture of burning more calories than you eat. But one specific type of workout is not going to make you burn more body fat than another. If anything, doing strength training, which people don't really associate with fat loss usually, is probably going to benefit you more for fat loss and give you more of a body composition change than doing just the workouts that most people think of as fat loss, like going for a long jog or doing a HIIT workout, that kind of stuff. The reason is because when you do a strength training workout with the right intensity and you're pushing yourself, you're literally causing your muscle fibers to break down. So not only do you burn calories in the process of lifting heavy weights and doing strength training, but your body uses a lot of energy to do the repair to that tissue, which burns more calories. So it could contribute to even more of the calorie burn side of the equation over the long run than just doing straight cardio. And then if we zoom out even further from that, you're spending this time doing strength training and building muscle. Well, what does that muscle on your body do in the long term? It burns even more calories because muscle is a very metabolically active tissue compared to body fat. So you're boosting your metabolism, which benefits your future self and your short-term fat loss progress too. So I just said that there are no fat loss workouts, but if you want to say there's some workouts that could potentially be better for fat loss, it's probably strength training over straight cardio. But again, take the emphasis off of your workouts fueling your fat loss progress and put it where it goes, which is the harder part, which is the amount of food that you're eating.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you said that
That was quite a rant.
in another one too. Like, take the energy that you're using to complicate this
Right.
and put it into
Right.
thinking about what you're
Right.
eating.
What is the best workout? I'm
Yeah.
obsessing about what is the best workout I can do for fat loss. Oh, it's to push the plate away before you're done eating. Well, that's not what I want to hear. I want to know what I can
Yeah.
do in the gym. That seems a lot easier.
Yeah.
This is the reason that most people struggle, and there's tons of people in gyms not getting in good shape, is because you cannot ignore the nutrition side of things. Okay, number 6. Your workouts have to leave you exhausted and sore to be worth a darn.
I think sore is one of those, like, like misconceptions of, like, if I'm sore, then I've worked it. If I'm not sore, I haven't.
Right. It wasn't a good workout if
Right.
I'm not extremely sore. If you did 500 air squats during a day, you would be extremely sore. That does not mean that you did a good workout.
Yeah.
If you did 3x5 back squats at 80% of your 1 rep max, you might not be that sore the next workout.
If you've been working out consistently,
Right.
and that's like you just added 5 pounds, you might not be
If
that
it's part of
sore.
your training
It's just-
program,
yeah.
you might not be that sore. But darn, you got a lot better workout than you did if you did than doing 500 air squats.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at the nature of a lot of people's workouts, it goes back to number 1, where you're trying to build long, lean muscles by doing tons of reps with these light weights. Well, you're going to get extremely sore just because of the amount of volume that you did doing all these reps. But once again, you didn't actually build any strength or muscle. There's a dude out here mowing the lawn behind us. Hey, don't forget that one spot over there. And I saw some mosquitoes out there earlier. If you could take care of that too. So yeah, soreness is not a good indication of whether a workout was good or not. The caveat to that is, though, if you are never sore, there's probably a good chance that you're not using progressive overload in your training and actually
and
getting
you're not having
stronger.
variety. The times that we get sore is, number one, if we've taken any time off and we go back, especially if we've taken any time off from, like, something heavy, like we've been out on a trip and we've done dumbbells and we go back to the barbell, we're sore. If we do anytime you do lunges, you're sore.
Right. Yeah.
If we do something that we haven't been doing in a while,
Right.
we're sore. We're not sore daily.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be sore, but
Yeah,
it's
it's okay to
not
be
the
sore.
indicator of a good
Right.
workout.
Right.
And the same thing with being exhausted. Like, coming from a CrossFit background, I think there's so many people think that if you aren't lying on the ground, like creating a sweat angel, gasping for
Yeah.
air because your heart rate was at 180 every single day, then you did not get a good workout.
Right.
Especially when we lived in a colder climate. There was times where we like worked our butt off, like, a bodybuilding style strength training workout with like 7 exercises, 5
Yeah.
sets per exercise. Like, we killed ourselves and we never even broke a sweat.
Yeah.
Because it's not an indication of a great workout being super exhausted. And we've also learned that
being super sweaty.
being super sweaty and
That
exhausted.
did mess with my mind because we moved from Houston, the sweat pit of America,
Yeah.
to Idaho where there's no humidity. And like, I would be like, did we even work out? Like, I don't even have to take a shower.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sweaty at all.
Right.
It was very weird. Like, it was playing with my mind.
Yeah. And our training now is more balanced with doing short bursts of intense cardio, doing longer duration cardio, doing something in between, and doing a ton of strength training and bodybuilding too. And not
Yeah.
every workout leaves us feeling exhausted like when we were doing just CrossFit 5 days per week. But our results are way better with this methodology than just doing the straight kill yourself 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So if you think you have to be exhausted laying on the ground and get your heart rate up super high for a long period of time to have a good workout, come talk to us. We can fix that. Okay, number 7, there are fattening foods and non-fattening foods. Man, I still hear this at any kind of like social gathering or family kind of thing, and I used to believe it. It's like, oh no, don't eat that. Those are fattening. Oh, like that that's a fattening food. This is like the Seinfeld episode with the
Yeah.
non-fat yogurt. How's this yogurt making us gain weight? It's non-fat. Look,
Because you're going there 5 times a day.
right. Any food can make you gain or lose weight. It is about the quantity of that food that you eat and the caloric density of the foods that you choose. Because remember, some foods are really filling and they don't have a
Yeah.
lot of calories. Some foods aren't filling at all, but they have a ton of calories. So those two combinations of things are what really can make a food, quote, fattening or not. How much of it are you likely to eat?
Yeah.
Put me in front of a bag of your mom's gluten-free, vanilla-flavored granola, and that's going to be a really fattening food for me because I'm going to eat a lot
You're
of
gonna
it.
eat a lot of it.
Set me down to a bowl of boiled shrimp. That's not going to be a real fattening food for me because I'm not going to eat a ton of it, and it doesn't have a lot of calories in shrimp.
I mean, that's the beauty of whole foods versus processed foods. Like, you eat a big bowl of shrimp, your body is gonna stop you from
Right.
overeating that because you're
Right.
gonna be filled with protein. Same thing with like, there's Nick Bargatze has that joke of like, show me your fat fruit friends. Like,
Yeah.
people are always like, don't eat too much
Yeah,
fruit.
that sugar and fruit will make you
But
fat.
like, you can't put in that much fruit. There's so much fiber in fruit, your body will stop you
Yeah, the
from
water.
eating that much fruit. But open a bag of chips and you can likely take down the whole bag of chips. Your body won't stop you from eating those chips.
So the moral of the story is, what makes a fattening food? It's a food that has a lot of calories per serving and isn't very filling, therefore you can eat a lot of it. Or a food that just like has that certain taste profile that makes you want to just keep eating it.
What was it? Something that gives you like a great like an initial taste, and then you kind of have a weird taste in your mouth, and you have
I
to
gotta
eat
eat another
another
one of
one.
those.
And you just
Like a
kinda
sour candy, like,
get
cool,
into
man.
like this process. Yeah.
So that's what makes foods fattening and non-fattening.
All right.
All right, number 8, women shouldn't lift weights or they'll get bulky.
I think we already talked about this.
Well, let's touch on one thing that we didn't bring up. The thing that causes a muscle to get bigger is applying the stress to it through the weightlifting, and then the recovery of sleep and nutrition. So when we're eating an appropriate amount of food, the muscle is still going to grow, but not at an exponential rate, especially if you're not on steroids. So it's a slow process of this muscle going through this cycle of breaking it down and recovering. Now, if we are eating in a way that we're providing a ton of extra calories to our body, we're not only going to see the muscle grow, but we're going to have excess calories that our body stores for body fat too. So the thing that really causes someone to become bulky when they're lifting weights is just eating too much food and piling body fat up on top of the muscle that's growing too.
Yeah.
The way that bodybuilders grow is by eating a metric ton of food, but the people that you see that are like really shredded and jacked, they're on anabolic steroids. That's what causes them to not be able to gain body fat as the muscle grows. Nobody in a gym that you go to, is like going to accidentally end up bulky. If they do, it's because they're just eating too much food. Putting too much energy in is what causes us to get bulky, not the fact that we're just lifting a weight. If anything, if you want to see muscle tone, you want to see definition in your muscle, you've got to lift those heavy weights like we talked about earlier to cause the muscle to develop any kind of definition. And then eating the appropriate amount of food is what controls whether you're going to have body fat on top of that muscle and keep it from looking bulky or not.
All that being said, I do think that there's some people that put on muscle a bit easier than others. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can eat a ton and still and have a hard time putting on
Mm-hmm.
as much bulky looking muscle as especially women. Like I
Yeah.
know some women that can just like their arm muscles can grow quickly, and
Yeah.
some women it takes them a lot
Yeah,
of
some people
work.
are just hyper responders
Yeah,
to any kind of training,
right.
which means they have to put even more emphasis on the nutrition side,
Mm-hmm.
since that kind of, lifting the weight gives the
Yeah,
muscle the stimulus.
but
What you eat,
it's the intake. Yeah,
yeah, depends what's going to actually happen.
right.
And last thing I'll say on this is, if your definition is to look, quote, toned and not bulky, you got to focus on eating enough protein.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lifting weights, you're eating the right amount of calories, but you're not giving your body any protein, you're going to end up with that kind of fluffy, skinny fat
Mm-hmm.
type of look, because you're not giving your muscles the nutrients that they need to actually grow. So what you eat matters in addition to how much you eat, if your
Mm-hmm.
goal is to avoid getting bulky. It's getting warm in here now that the air's off.
Two more.
Okay, number 9, the 80-20 rule works for getting in shape or changing your body. Talked about this most recently on the episode with EC. The 80-20 rule, and I have a long blog post that I'll link to in the show notes about the 80-20 rule and how it's a trap for most people and it's screwing up your relationship with nutrition and exercise. The point
Yeah.
is, 80% of what? What does that even mean? Is it like 80% of the day? Like, so if you divided out how many minutes are in the day, you're on track for 80% of those, and then you're doing, well, just who knows what else during the other 20%? Is it days of the month? Are you on track for 80% of the days of the month, and then 20% you're not? Is it you're doing 80% of your workouts? Are you putting in an 80% effort into the workouts that you are doing? The point is, this is just like this arbitrary thing that has no
Mm-hmm.
way to be measured, but it can kind of make you feel like, I'm doing all the things, I'm really not doing that bad. What does 20% even
Yeah.
mean? Why am I not getting results? And it's causing people to feel like, I must really be screwing up, or there must be something wrong with me because I'm doing pretty good, but nothing's working.
Mm-hmm.
And I also would just argue that, like, you just have to decide which side of the line are you on. Are you doing this, or are you not doing this? Because 80% effort in most things in life doesn't get the results that most people want. It's putting 100% effort in without the expectation that you're going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be focused on your health and nutrition, let's be like in that life. Let's do that thing. Let's be 100% committed to it. 100% commitment is a different thing than being 80% committed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll link to the show notes because I don't want to wax on this too much. The blog is like 2,000 words,
Okay.
and more importantly, like what to do instead of
Yeah.
just trying to use this quote 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10, eating too little puts your body into starvation mode and prevents you from losing weight. There was a time where I actually believed this, I have to confess. So people say, like, if you don't eat enough, your body will think that you're in some sort of like crisis, and it will try to hold on to the weight that you
Mm-hmm.
have to keep you from starving. Unfortunately, like, we have history to look back at, and they've done research on actual starving people,
Mm-hmm.
even in metabolic wards where like they were controlling the people's intake. Or you can just go to look at the TV show Alone and see that when your body is truly starving, your body will absolutely attack the body fat that you
Mm-hmm.
have to try to make you stay alive. And if you are starving long enough and you're not eating your protein, it'll start to cannibalize your muscle tissue as the last resort for energy too. The reason that people think that this is a thing is because we think that we're eating too little and we're not losing weight, but what we're actually doing is we are eating too little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and sometimes half of Friday, and then we're not eating too little Friday night, all of Saturday, and all of Sunday, and we're negating the progress that we made
Mm-hmm.
by eating too little earlier in the week. What I'm
Or
talking
or it
about is
seems
this
like
like
little
restriction
amounts,
cycle.
and it's a calorie.
That's right.
Dense
Goes back to what we
food.
were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, how any food can make you fattening. You really might not be eating a lot of food, but you might be choosing food that has a
Mm-hmm.
ton of calories per serving. Maybe you're having a latte and a muffin from Starbucks for breakfast, and it's not a lot of food, and you're hungry within an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't realize is that was 1,000 calories that you just ate. And then maybe that salad that you're getting for lunch actually has 1,200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Not that filling because so much of it was greens, but it had bacon, it had cheese, it had dressing, it had guacamole, it had whatever. like maybe the quantity wasn't a
Yeah.
lot, but the choices added up to be a lot of calories. So it's usually one of those two things, like you said, caloric density of food you don't realize, which is one reason to hire a coach, help bring awareness to those kinds of things. And then number two, just over restricting during the week, making you feel like you're eating too little. And then you switch over into like go ham mode on the weekend. And the net averages out to as if you just ate too much over the course of the week
Yeah.
anyway. Hey, Buttons.
Button
Button
stop.
says, are y'all done? I'm ready to go outside. All right. Anything else you want to get into on this episode?
I think that was great.
All right. 10 fitness and nutrition myths that need to go away forever. I guess we won't be in the camper next week.
And I can put all these in the show notes so we can list them all out.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you next week.